And that was Kalai with that goal. A big marker for the Blackhawks, and they not only erased the 1-goal deficit, but now they're back in action. Here's Favaro. He's got a man in the middle calling for it. Long pass. Oh, and he got his stick on it. He had to stretch out, but he did everything he could, and he made contact, and he forces a save from the Moonshiners goalkeeper. So Amai Gill with the most recent play there has their team searching now for an equalizer. Shot on goal, that's sticked aside. Some physical play here, picks up as little pass just makes it onside across the line for Croker. He's being watched closely by Basson. Basson getting real close and uptight there along the boards and ultimately does get knocked down. Chakrabarty. Luke had trouble with it. Here's the one-time shot. Save off the blocker, and right there is Basson. He went right to his goalkeeper's aid. Gets a return pass from Rye. Has a look, and the goaltender makes an interesting move so he can see the time on the clock. Watching Croker out in front, but body turned, bladed towards the action. But possession on the near side belongs to Jason Mikowski, who has the marker here for the Moonshiners. That ball goes up and out of play with a little over 10 seconds to go in period number 1. And another game where the BC Blackhawks yield the first goal, but storm back. And they've done very well here with Kalai and company. There's Upal. He's out on the floor. He's got the first goal of the game for the BC Blackhawks. There's a nice little saucer pass into the middle, all tied up with Chakrabarty. And players go down in the crease, but I'd be surprised if anything comes of this. It was just a good old hockey play going to the goal. Croker gets up slowly, but he was tangled up with his man. And now just 1.4 seconds remaining on the ticker here. Maybe time for one very quick face-off chance by the Moonshiners. But Croker would have to win it clean. And he does have a man over his shoulders. That's Malik Dollywall. Now he lets it go, but that one took a deflection in front and never makes it on goal. And that's how the first period winds out, with the Blackhawks clawing back BC style. Gill getting a tap on the shoulder for his efforts from Almec, who's done very well. He's got good speed, and he actually cut off one of the good opportunities about 15, 16 feet out in the high slot on Croker. So the Blackhawks, they look to be a little shaky to start things off, but certainly have more than atoned for that slow start, and they have really picked up steam here in this period. Very similar to last night's game against the Clappers Club. So Mark Kayla giving the team the lead here. And as mentioned before, Balkaran Upal, he's been red hot, and he continues his hot play here this afternoon with a strong shot. The Moonshiners, for their part, they're playing quite organized hockey. They're maybe a little more sense of urgency in the neutral areas of the rink. In between the blue lines, closer to the red line, I think they maybe need to be a little more aggressive in their pursuit of the ball. So the players having a little chat here during this 3-minute break in between periods. Singh really close to the center line there. Looked like he was just having a chat with someone from the BC Blackhawks bench. And of course, the mood was a little different last night in our final game in the men's B division, or in the final game of the night, final game of their round robin action heading into today. But there was nothing really so much on the line. But here this morning, it's a lot different story. This is the game that either gets you through to the finals or does not. So everything to play for in this game, and the Moonshiners, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions so far in this game. Elated to jump out to that 1-0 lead. Jason Mikowski getting them off to the start that they wanted. Goaltender Brandon Bondy headed back into his goal. Gets a glove tap from his defenseman as we're just about set to kick this second period off. Moonraj Hayer letting his goaltender know, hey, we're all in this together. And the same with Mike Johal, letting his goaltender know, look at this drive towards a goal, and it's yielded a penalty as Upal, using that big frame of his and good speed. And it looks like the Moonshiners are going to be shorthanded just seconds into the period start. And Tri Tran looks like he's the one that's headed off for tripping as Upal was making a dangerous run towards the goal. He tried to cut off his time and space, and I think it was the space part of that caused him some difficulty. Face off to the left of Mahai as the ball gets worked around here by the Blackhawks. Upal, who was grieved on that last play, has the umbrella position now for the Blackhawks. That pass was telegraphed and cut off and picked off, sent down the floor. Parmir Man. Now he comes back out just to see the ball go back in. Croker has a short-handed chance, pulls it wide, kills a few seconds, over to Mann, shooting, scores! It's a short-handed marker. And just like that, the game is tied. And we talked about those dangerous hands of Croker, and he put the defense on notice. He stopped them up hard on that quick move just to the right of to the left of the face-off circle. Defender puts a stick down low, and then in that one-time pass, he found it just perfectly up at the top of the left face-off circle. And Parmir, man, lets fly, and it's a shorthanded marker, which was very exciting for Tri Tran, who's in the penalty box, to see his club score. There's a spinorama shot by Hayer, and that's swallowed up by the goaltender as it was underneath his trapper on top of his left pad as he absorbs the impact of that one. Jazz Malhai set for this face-off. Over to his right. Sadra Kang back to Gill. Gill stick handles. Right shooting defender moves in, shoots, and that one was deflected en route to the goal. And good tracking there by Malhai as he was able to see that through a partial screen. Maybe if Gill was able to get it off a half second sooner, might have troubled the goalkeeper even more. Rye chases down that loose ball, gets a pass there from Brandon Bondy, who's done well so far, but he'll be counted on here now even more as the Moonshiners have been able. There's a delayed offside, and that's the ruckus on both benches. And now trying to kill maximum time here by forcing the Blackhawks to reset up, to re-enter, and it's just slapped all the way down on goal. Brandon Bondy makes the stop, but it was off his glove. And who's there? Croker. He's battling for the ball on the wall. Up against Jazz Malhai. And now Gill, he'll head off. Hayer has the ball. 10 seconds on the power play to go. Tri Tran, he'll be out there at the side of the goal. Now up to the point. Basson fires and the goaltender's paddle lets them know that the penalty is over. Oh, and so the penalty's been adjudicated to Tran because he left the penalty box early. I heard the referee say he left the box 5 seconds early. I wasn't watching closely on the penalty timer, but he's been sent right back to the box. Now his teammates are trying to tell him to keep a level head here and not argue the call. That's Malik Dollywall trying to calm things down. They don't need any kind of misconduct or anything. So it does go down as an illegal substitution, too many men penalty, which does not happen very often, but you just witnessed it here, and so much of sometimes there's that 1 second or so as you're stepping out of the box that they'll allow for, but the referee called it. He said 5 seconds early. So unfortunately for the Moonshiners, that the power play that they were able to kill and actually score a goal on, but they're going to have to be tested again here with the man advantage. And this is a pretty inviting window here for the BC Blackhawks to try and restore the lead that they were able to come back and grab. As I mentioned, the ball hockey's been incredible at the Provincials here. Up until this point, the 3 games I've called have all been 1-goal games, and this one is no different. We're knotted at deuces. Brendan Bondi comes out to play the ball from behind his own goal, and he'll get the Blackhawks power play rolling here. Rye trepidatiously towards the line. The flip in could have been a little deeper, and that's going to allow the Moonshiners a chance to pick their spot, send it down the floor. Out to meet it with that excellent looking true stick wielded by Brandon Bondi, his goal stick. Pretty flashy stuff. There's a pass to the point. You can hear Rav saying him walk. There's Gill on the near side, back up to Rye on the umbrella. To the right side, there's a shot looking for a tip in front. Never touched the stick. Gill works it to the far side. Rye. One-time shot. Scores! It might have been tipped by Cedric Kang in front, and I believe it was. But it was the big rip off of the right side that let that goal transpire. And I think Upal, with that blast, he was able to basically blind everyone with its power and speed. So the BC Blackhawks take that open window I was talking about, and they step right through. And they've reestablished the 3-2 lead. It doesn't show on the score clock yet, but it is indeed a power play goal. There it is. It's up now. Carter with the ball. He'll send it in. Tran out on the floor again. So he saw 2 goals happen in the time he was in the box. One the first time and one the second. So it does come out as a wash, but he'll want to be squeaky clean from here on out. The officials showing they're not messing around today with the whistle and the arm in the air. Almec forces a quick button hook out of the defense here as the ball is shoveled forward. Michael Sangera. Near side boards for Mike Johal. Johal takes a bump from Parhar. Cross floor pass. Getting there first is Michael Sangera. Sangera, he's being watched very closely in the corner by Basson, but he is able to play it to the half wall, and now up top to the umbrella shot from distance, and that not going to trouble the keeper, but there were 2 players in the general vicinity, and that could have been a little bit dangerous as the Blackhawks were able to shut it down and make sure Bondi could see the ball. They kept everyone just shoved outside of that area well enough to give their goaltender the vision he needed. And the BC Blackhawks enjoying a 1-goal advantage at the moment. Face-off belongs to the Blackhawks as the captain comes in. He gets shoved up against the boards for his efforts, but he's still in there searching for the ball. He bodies with Justin Olgai. Olgai chasing the ball down in the corner. Sadra Kang, who got the last touch on that blast from Upal, that has the power play marker, that has the Blackhawks back in the driver's seat. Feed through the middle. Favaro, he was all tied up. He was watched closely by Parmveer Man. And an arm in the air right near the Moonshiners bench. The ref, he had a lot of help on that call. Jim Nikoriak was steaming in for the ball, and he took a bit of interference on the way there from the Blackhawks captain, and so power plays, so it is a 2-minute for boarding call. So Naz Pooney off to the penalty box. 2 minutes for boarding. It's a minor, but Croker, he'll step into the face-off circle here against Almec, and that's won by the Moonshiners. They have possession as they work it up to the umbrella, now near side for Croker. A right shooting forward. So deceptive. Working it down to the goal line and now back up to the umbrella. There's a shot from distance, save from Bondi. Ball comes back to Croker. Reloads to the goal line. Return pass doesn't come, being watched very closely by the Blackhawks defense. Back up to the umbrella. Look on goal, and there's a save. Bondi turns it aside, and that ball fired way up almost underneath Nathan and Alam's feet here up in Control Central, up in the gondola here at the Frank Crane. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, and I hope you're enjoying the fruits of their labors. They've been tireless here so far this weekend, and Troy Gladysdal, I'm sure he'll be very pleased to see the results. Was able to watch back a couple of the games from last night, and my dad, Herb Jensen, he was able to watch one of the contests from last night, the game with the Burnaby Blades and the Clappers Club. He said it was very entertaining while he was having a coffee this morning, waiting to get set on side, or the Moonshiners waiting for some movement. Now Croker goes, and they're saying he made it in on side. Not every bench agreed there, but Croker has possession. 43 on the penalty. Croker, top of the face-off circle, defers to the umbrella again, gets a return pass. A lot of the offense streams through that stick, especially in this man advantage. Cross-crease pass, and that was broken up by Sadra Kang towards a point. Fake shot, now near side for Croker. He's a right-handed shot, so he has to wait for it to come to the board side. There's a jam from the near side, and that one not able to be tucked in. And you can hear the call from near the box, just a few seconds. 5, in fact. Oh, and a diving attempt by Bondi, but the ball goes wide. Pooney is out of the box. Jazz Pooney back out in action. There's a cross-crease pass and a diving shot, but is underneath, and it made it underneath the diving Bondi. And just as the power play expires, the Moonshiners, their ball movement finally comes to fruition. They load up that left side shot, and they've pulled this game back to even at 3 apiece. It's not a power play goal, but it might as well have been, with Pooney just getting out of the penalty box and trying to rejoin the action. And once again, Croker with that clean, hard pass from the near side. And it was wired with strength and accuracy. The Moonshiners good for the 3-3 tie. Kyla with one of the markers. Feeds it down the boards. Now the Blackhawks, Upal sends it in just over the goal. That's set up at the side of the goal. That won't trouble the keeper, but he has to be careful with a lot of players in the vicinity. Working it D to D. That pass was cut off in the high slot. Turning, Hayer fires, and that one's right on. Another shot from distance, and this time it hits a Moonshiner in front. Hayer to the far side. Wind-up shot. And then Lucas sends it in. Chakrabarty with the tap in with a beautiful feed from the right side boards. And he was unmarked in the slot, and he's able to get his stick on it. And Lucas Chakrabarty, and he has one of the Moonshiners in a fit, just going down the tunnel there. Moonraj Hayer was all sorts of upset with that play and that lack of a clearance there that led to the 4-3 marker as the BC Blackhawks regain the lead. Once again, multiple leads have changed hands here, particularly in the second. Chakrabarty, fresh off that goal, feeds it to the boards, gets a return pass. He tried to quickly sweep it, but a good recovery back to Rye. The left shooting defender, there's a shot on goal. It was off speed, but it nearly fooled the goaltender, Mahai, as he tried to make a sweep at it with his goal stick, but the off-time shot nearly had his paddle in the wrong position. Ball is chipped in by Brad Sinclair. Into the corner, and now the Blackhawks with possession. High lifting pass. Searching pass for Hayer, who has a man with him. Chakrabarty joining, and that one rifled way high up over the goal on the trail, but Chakrabarty maintains possession. Hayer on the cycle from down below the goal line. Backhand chance through the slot, and if Hayer was any closer, he might have had a tap in there. 3:20 to go, second period. This game it started great, and it's just continued to pick up steam and an emotion. These players are really, truly invested now here. Tran loads, fires. He was looking short side, but he went a little too short. Ball comes to the far side, and that's moved ahead by the Blackhawks, but good recovery on the defensive aspect of things by Parmveer Mann. Parmveer Mann sending it off of one of the sticks, I believe. So, yes, they are going to consider it a Moonshiners ball once again. But it looks like they're going to face it off deep here in the Moonshiners zone. So that clearance obviously didn't take a redirect off of a BC Blackhawks stick, and it looks like we're getting a timeout called. Hard to tell which bench he pointed at, but I want to believe that that was the Moonshiners bench that called the timeout. Yes, it is the Moonshiners. They've called a timeout, and they'll get a few moments, not only to catch their wind a little bit here, but to talk strategy with this important offensive zone face-off for the BC Blackhawks here with a shade under 3 minutes remaining in the second period. And if you're just joining us, hi, I'm Lorenzo, and the crew here. We've got Nathan and Alum, just a few boys wanting to bring you some good old-fashioned BC Ball Hockey Association Provincials action. And what's on the line? Well, a possible ticket to punch for the 2027 Nationals, and that is certainly worth playing for. Upal, he has one of the goals here today. We're back in action. He's shoved and stuffed up against the boards by a couple of Moonshiners. Croker trying to one-hand the ball forward. Lost it for a moment, and he's offside as Parhar was quickly and vehemently letting the referee know that was not an onside play, of which they took notice. So we get a little bit of Duran here in the background. And I know that might age me a little bit, but I'll tell you, back in around grade 6 and 7, that was all anyone could talk about or listen to was Duran Duran, hungry like the wolf. Down the far side come the BC Blackhawks. On the trail is Sadra Kang, who has one of the goals here for the Blackhawks, one of their 4. He decides to go and make a move. He slipped. And the bench is going nuts as they saw Sadra Kang tie his legs up with the defender and bring him down after he slipped, and that's what all the commotion was about. The captain nearly stepped on and came into play, but he doesn't touch the ball. Parhar backhands it towards the goal. A sharp angle attempt, and that would have been beautiful if they could have completed it as the Blackhawks. What a drive to the goal that was, as Justin Matai nearly one-hands it around the goaltender. He gets a tap on the back from Carter. And as often happens, see now the Moonshiners they're pleading their case. That's Mitchell Bell speaking to the official. And you know what? If I'm being completely transparent, Sadra Kang did somehow interfere with the player, but it was so well disguised because he'd already fallen. He had slipped. His feet went out from underneath him. His feet went forward. He fell on his back. But the player that was nearby, as he went to go get up, he somehow kind of wrapped his feet around, and just so happens that player is Parmveer Mann, who is now in the penalty box. And so you could call it a retaliation penalty, call it what you will, but it is a power play now for the BC Blackhawks with 1:25 to go in the period, 1:45 in the power play, and Rye is just offside. I think Hayer was a half step offside, and that will bring the face-off outside the blue line here, as the Blackhawks would love nothing more than but to add another marker here at the end of the period, which I think mentally would do the most damage to the Moonshiners because of the way that this power play transpired. A lot of uncertainty around the lack of call there, and they are pretty upset. Gill from the point sends it across the floor. There's a shot, sharp angle, right pad save. Croker has to turn away from Hayer to get rid of it, but get rid of it he does, and he sends it down the floor. Under a minute to go here in the second stanza. Blackhawks from their own zone. Brandon Bondy teeing it up for his D, and away they come. There's Rye. Just shovels it in over the line. Upal, that's too far for him. He's got to try and track his man down, and a good turn by Manpreet Malhai. Got the ball at least as far as center, and now they'll work it back in. The Blackhawks do. Shot, scores in front. Sadra Kang, I think, got the last touch, but Gill snaps it from the point and causing all sorts of consternation in front of the goal. Sadra Kang, I'm sure he had the last touch on it, and he's got a couple here today, and he has been lethal on the power play setup. And as I mentioned, the BC Blackhawks would have loved nothing more than to round out the period with a 2-goal lead, and that's what they've done. They were behind in this one, 1-0. Came back and made it a 2-1 game. The Moonshiners able to tie it up. There's been a lot of skill exchange back and forth here between these two clubs. Carter with the quick face-off jump. Almick joins them, but Tran with 20 seconds to go. There's a feed for Croker. Does he have enough room? Short side, and he's shot. Great blocker save by Bondy. Backhand gets over the defender at center, and so it goes the length for an icing. And that'll stop the clock with a tick under 7 seconds to go here. Just enough time for the Moonshiners to orchestrate something. It looks like the face-off will transpire over to the right of goaltender Bondy. Croker will take the draw. Jason Makowski, he's got a goal. He's on the right side of Croker. Nobody on the other. To the umbrella. There's possession. 3.5 to go. Lays it down low. Maybe not the decision they wanted. They maybe should have just let fly. I don't think there would have been enough time for the BC Blackhawks to orchestrate anything back the other way, but no shot forthcoming in the final 7 seconds, and that is how period 2 ends. It's a 5-3 lead by virtue of that power play goal on a controversial non-call. And isn't it just something that Sadra Kang, the player that was part of that controversial non-call, should be the one to get the tip in front on the ensuing power play as he draws the penalty from Parmveer Mann. And it's a power play marker, and they escape the second period up by a deuce. Been a good contest here so far, and if things were to finish the way that they are right now, it would be the first game this so far between the first 4 set that I've seen that had more than a 1-goal differential on the final score line. Last night, a 5-4 and a 4-3 final in each of those in the B division last games of the round robin. Malhai grabs a sip of water from his teammates, and they're really going to need him. The Moonshiners will to shut the door the rest of the way here if they've any chance of mounting a comeback here. They have the talent, they've got the ball movement, and they have the hands, particularly in Croker and in Mikowski. Might need their D to try and chip in a little bit more here. Make a couple of plays towards goal. But Colton Croker, he'll be called upon. Malik Dhaliwal and Jim Nikoriak, number 10, keep your eye on him. I have a feeling he's not done having his say yet here today. And he's made some very timely moves and plays for the Moonshiners, and I expect that to only intensify here in this final 13 minutes of playing time from the Frank Crane Arena. And top of the morning to you indeed. It's Lorenzo Jensen. I'm here with Nathan and Alum, and we're the BC Ball Hockey YouTube crew for you today. And I hope you're enjoying this contest, hopefully live, but if you're catching this afterwards, it's a great game to catch the replay on. These two teams are quite well suited to each other's play styles, and it's really created some exciting, if not somewhat drama-filled play here so far. Singh, he's all ready to go over on the bench for the Moonshiners. He's chomping at the bit to get out there. Bondi, he's just taking his time. He's looking up at a 2-goal lead on the scoreboard, and he's feeling pretty confident about that and hoping he can help guide his team into the finals here at the Frank Crane that'll transpire this afternoon. We're back underway. Nice little tip, though, through to himself. Shot on goal, Mikowski. Here's the call up behind him towards the goal. Ball is bouncing in front. There's a backhand between the legs by Mikowski, and Jason didn't miss by much on the stick side. Now the Blackhawks with the outlet pass. Worked up the near side, and now cutting towards center. Hard pass, makes it over the line to Almick. And now they're on side towards the goal, looking for the rebound and crashing the net in front, but unable to pick up the rebound are the Blackhawks. Carter tries to close it down as there's a partial change in effect for the Moonshiners. Ball is chipped in and chased hard by Brad Sinclair. Sinclair dishes up top, winds, fires, low shot, misses on the stick side. Goaltender was down with his paddle down, never touched him. Moonraj Hare from the point. There's the call at the top of the face-off circle. Ball was a bit lacking on the cross, but a good step in over the line by Justin Matai. Keeps the play alive. There's a shot. Right pad save. Bondi seeing that one through traffic. He had Nikoriak in front of him once again. Hare from the point. There's a shot. Oh, and they were looking for the tip in front. Didn't come through. Shot whistles wide. Jason Mikoriak chasing it down on the near side. Pardon me, that was Jim Nikoriak. And now Rye picking it up on the boards. Shovels it back to Favaro, but that's intercepted. Back the other way come the Moonshiners on the counterattack. Mitchell Bell puts on the brakes, makes the pass, gets a return, but a good stick at the last second. Sadra Kang taking his time, gets a shove for the delay, but he plays it up to Favaro, who puts on the brakes. Makes a turn in front of Moonraj Hare. Cross floor pass, Sadra Kang. Down below the goal line, but a good interception. And there is a call as one of the players for the Moonshiners is felled. I think that was Amai Gill. And he hit the deck after a stick came up. Pardon me, that was Michael Sangera who went to the floor. And it looks like a high sticking call here is forthcoming against the BC Blackhawks. It is a high stick. So a golden opportunity to get back in this one. Moonshiners talking strategy now as they've got this power play to work with. Ronak Chauhan in the penalty box for the high stick. Can the Moonshiners power play yield? Ball is lifted deep and down surface. Malhide moving the ball forward to get this power play rolling. In over the line onside. There goes Croker. Has a look cross floor. Play hasn't developed yet, so he'll take his time. Sets up off the half wall. 20 seconds gone in the power play. Plays pass on the point there with Malik Dhaliwal, who's up at the umbrella. In the slot, save off of the mask, and a big stop from point blank. Brad Sinclair with a grade A opportunity, and Brandon Bondi's mask comes to the fore as he basically has the ball go off his mask, and he dives on top of the rebound, and Brandon Bondi keeps this a 5-3 affair. 10-11 remaining in the third. Croker, win to the wing. Makowski has a look. He'll go to the umbrella as it's worked around. 1:15 to go in the power play. One great chance already as the ball is moved around nicely from out of the corner. There's a shot, the rebound, they score! And not to be denied a second time, Brad Sinclair slams it home. And it is a one-goal game again, and the power play has been lethal in these semifinals for the teams with the power play. Another man advantage cashed in on, and this time the Moonshiners making their mark on the power play. Brad Sinclair, right time, right place, great ball movement, and how do you stop that low side winger as he's just sitting there with time and space? So hard to shut that down. Makowski doing a great job moving that ball with aplomb on that last. Here's a steal by Chakrabarty, holds, shoots, and that's a stick save, and an important one by Malhide as he makes sure, as I said earlier going into the period, he has to be airtight here. He's got to give them a chance to survive this period and to make a couple of goals happen all the while, and they've already fulfilled half of that. Is there another goal left for the Moonshiners? Upal, nice back pass to Sadra Kang. He's got two, shoots, and he didn't miss by much with the defender down and trying to block. That was Manpreet Malhide that got down to help his keeper. From out of the corner, Sadra Kang, long reach, and he nearly had a chance from about 15 feet out, but now he defers to the point. Now Upal. Into the corner it goes. Chakrabarty has the stick poised, ready for a quick shot. Nice turn there in the slot. Sadra Kang pulling backhand, and he doesn't deliver. It just rolls off the end of his stick, but it was a very close chance. Sadra Kang looking for the Hattie right there. Played to the red line and now shot in at the side of the goal, and diving out to cover it up, Malhide. As there were players ripping through the crease, Sadra Kang, he went down in the process at the side of the goal trying to secure an opportunity for his team. But as noted, the Moonshiners, they know the importance of defense right now. They know they need to lock this down. and they are ready to sacrifice body and stick to get in front to help their goaltender out, and they've been doing that so far with a face-off over to his right. Sinclair, the goal scorer that made this a one-goal game, he's out there, won the face-off. He's hoping Moonraj can get the ball to him. Helps tie up his man long enough for Tran to come in. Chakrabarti felt he was interfered with there, but it won't matter because the ball was cleared up and out of play and into the Moonshiners bench. And that youngster, I think he's a son of one of the players for the Moonshiners, and it was pretty cool. He was out there passing it around with Dad. I'm not certain, but he's been talking a bit to Justin Matai, so that might be his dad, who was warming up earlier, but without jersey, so it was impossible to tell from up here who it was particularly. And I'm getting a nod from LM, so that is indeed the story, and I love it. Father-son bonding during a sporting event. I'm giving that the big check mark here. Ball is away for the Blackhawks. Shot on goal from outside the blue, and they'll force the whistle here and the stoppage. 8:15 to go. Just one goal between them. And the opportunity to punch their ticket through to the finals here in the Provincials. On the line, Almec into the face-off dot, and he's up against Croker. Colton Croker closing down space for Almec. Shot from distance, and that was chopped down in front. Never made it on goal. Ball is behind the goal. Moonraj Hayer tying his man up. Croker throws the body a little bit. Almec from the slot shot, and it's high over the net. Hayer on the near side. Croker, soft little pass. Just not quite enough, and Rye intercepts. Tran was trying to get away. Rye with numbers. Shooting. There's a pad save as the ball whistles through the crease. Still possession for the Blackhawks. Out of the corner. Backhand pass into the slot. That's broken up, and away comes Malik Dollywall. Dollywall feeds the wing. There's Croker. Is he going to cut? Sliding challenge from Bassan. He tried to lean heavy, though, on his stick into the corner. Fell, got back up. Plays it along the boards. Here's the keep in. Loading, firing, shot. Rebound on the side of the goal. Oh, and a big save. Bondi came across. He didn't see the shot, but he stopped it with his left pad. Croker in behind the goal. Colton shakes off one defender. Now two. Oh, and he tried to play it in front. Couldn't quite connect. He's on his backhand behind the goal. Gets some help from Justin Matai. Matai has a look. Here's a voice at the point. There's the load and scores! It's a tie game! Justin Matai makes his son happy with a beautiful feed from the near side. And just like that, Mike Johal makes it a 5-5 contest. And we are all even up. Just under 7 minutes to go here in the third. Mike Johal with a big goal and a beautiful pass from Justin Matai off of the half wall. Finds him in space, and he lets fly. And a screen. Brandon Bondi unable to do anything about it. Sadra Kang in his own end. Goes D to D as they're going to take their time developing this play here. They want to calm things down. Slow the momentum here that's been built up by the Moonshiners. They've really caught fire here, and they've erased that 2-goal deficit coming into the period. Unbelievable stuff here by the Moonshiners. Trying to keep their finals hopes alive. Chipped off of the boards. And no ice. You can hear the ref calling. Sadra Kang has to be very careful. He's got a man right on top of him. Dishes off the wall. Favaro, he tried to play it. Big scrum along the boards right in front of the timekeep. But ultimately the Blackhawks have possession. Sadra Kang, he's got a pair. What else is left in that stick? As he dishes to center. Went off of his players as Kyla's boot. Good hustle there by Sadra Kang to get the ball back and send it down for Lucas Chakrabarti. Now he's got some help. There's the dish, and a sliding body by the Moonshiners breaks that up. Oh, Manpreet Malhai sliding to break that up. Oh, and a one-time whiff in front by Hayer. Shot from the sharp angle, doesn't go. Collecting it on the near side, the Moonshiners. Brad Sinclair, he had that goal that brought them to within one, and now they've tied it up. I'm sure in hindsight he'll really realize the importance of that marker of his on the power play. Now Hayer tried to go cross floor, shoots, and that one just wide on the blocker side. Out in front, scores on the one-time. Chakrabarty with the go-ahead goal, and some hard forechecking from the BC Blackhawks results in a loose ball 18 feet out in front of Malhai, and just a great load and quick fire by Lucas Chakrabarty. And he has the BC Blackhawks back in front yet again with just under 5 minutes to go here in the third. Put on your seatbelts or restraining harness. We're in for a finish now here at the Frank Crane. Chakrabarty fresh off of that goal. He wants more. He's got to get away from the forechecking of Croker, who's had a strong game here. Hayer, he's onside and he's fed it into Paul. Cross feed, never makes it to Chakrabarty. That was broken up by Jason McCoskey. The Moonshiners trying to chip it in. Pooney, he slams it in behind the goal. Chipping it to himself now. Chakrabarty into the slot. Oh, and a big save off the right pad. Malhai needs to be absolutely airtight now. So many back and forth goals in this game. Rye fighting off the check, but it's swept forward. McCoskey driving around his man, or does he? That was a great stick by Gill. Ball went up. He knew where it was. He tracks it, comes down the wing, sliding on his knees, holds up, puts it across crease, and oh, he didn't miss Hayer by much, but it had to be a bullet pass. It had to be fast. A little too quick. Look at that back check by Hayer as he dispossesses the Moonshiners' Tri-Tran. Actually, that was Mike Johal that he was able to get the ball from, but now on the counter come the Moonshiners in room. Johal, and he just back-checked there by Carter, who's slapped the stick, and the ball comes out of play. And a stoppage with 3:08 remaining here, third period, and again, another one-goal affair. And goaltender Bondi, he's going to take the helmet off and get a sip of water here. It's getting kind of warm, and it's not just because the temperature is cranking up outside. Face-off win by the Moonshiners. There's a shot! Ball bounces up off of the goal stick of Bondi, and it was in a dangerous spot. But Cedric Kang, as he's done so often, he comes to his goalie's rescue and gets in there hard. Under 3 minutes to go. Moonshiners need a marker here. Shot! Oh, and that ripples the net from the outside. Cedric Kang plays it off of the boards. Outlet chance here for the BC Blackhawks. Sent cross floor for Carter. He's there. Gets to the ball. They wanted an icing call on that, did the Moonshiners, but it's still a live ball. Cedric Kang, he's going to slow it down and hold the possession. Kyla shooting from distance, and that forces a stop as Carter comes sliding into the crease. He was all tied up with Parmveer Man there en route to the goal. And some tense moments both ways. And the BC Blackhawks trying to hang on to this narrowest of leads. But they do have it right now. They, on the back of that Lucas Chakrabarty goal. And that's where we stand now. It's a 6-5 lead. 2:25 remaining in the third. And a very important stoppage here for both teams as they collect themselves and their collective identity for what's to come next here in this final 185 seconds in this men's B Division semifinal. Who claims the right to head to the finals this afternoon? We'll find out shortly. But for right now, that ticket seems to be in the hands of the BC Blackhawks. Can they hang on to it? Face off over to the left of goaltender Malhai. Hayer to take this face off for the Blackhawks. Good draw one though by Connor. And Croker just relays it to Jason Mikowski. He has a goal in this affair. Ball is played to the line. Croker tried to reach in and stick handle around Hayer, who has the ball now. He just lifts it. Is it enough for icing? Just enough as it rolls. And he was trying to just put a little bit too heavy on that curling shot. So it will be a face-off in BC Blackhawk territory now with one tick under 2 minutes to go. Face-off to the right of Brandon Bondy. He's been pretty solid here today. He's made the saves that he's needed to. And one or two of the spectacular variety, one off his helmet comes to mind. There's the face-off, and the Blackhawks charge the ball. Chakrabarty is there with Upal. He's going to wait for Upal to get onside, and now he does. One hands it to Chakrabarty. Shooting from a sharp angle, and that forces a left pad save from Malhai. Hayer. No one around him, so he goes and collects the ball, sends it up top to Sadra Kang. 1:35 remaining. Goes for a run. Drops off. Shot on goal. Rebound in front, and it's cleared away from Upal. He had a chance there in front, and he's remaining there now. Solid check behind the net. And the Moonshiners not in love with this call as Croker felt that his man went down easy, and now he's getting the misconduct as well. And unfortunately for Connor Croker, he knows the importance of this call. 1:23 to go, and even though they scored a shorthanded goal in the second period, it's a tall order right now for the Moonshiners. And the Moonshiners bench very unhappy with that call in behind their goaltender as Connor Croker a little too enthusiastic on his challenge there in behind his goaltender, and it's caused a fair amount of consternation here on the Moonshiners bench, and it results in Connor Croker getting a game misconduct as well. But really, at this point, if the BC Blackhawks are able to hang on for the final 83 seconds here, it would be inconsequential, the game misconduct, as far as the Moonshiners and Connor Croker are concerned. And now they need someone to be in the box as Singh will go and cover for Connor Croker, as he's been sent off and is probably set to remove his gear in the change room. Play back underway. 1:20 remaining here in this one. Unless there's some heroics here by the Moonshiners as they send the ball deep and in behind goaltender Brandon Bondy. Malik Dollywall in there taking for the ball. In behind him, Brad Sinclair, who has a marker. Ball is played behind the goal, backhanded towards the blue line, not all the way out, and that's sent up by McCoskey. Hayer thought about firing from distance. He's got a man in the lane, though, and he took too much time setting that up, and that's up into the rafters here and out of play for a face-off that should occur just outside of the blue line for the BC Blackhawks. Ikam Singh Rai, he's in the box, covering for Croker. This final 47 seconds of the third. The Blackhawks tried to break in, but they're just treading water now as the ball is backhanded in deep by Malik Dhaliwal. Gill, first one there, and his ball sent up along the board. That's going to travel the rest of the way, and of course the net is now vacated. Malhai, he's out of the crease, so they're at least an even amount of manpower out there, but they have no goaltender. And so the Moonshiners have to play flawless ball hockey here in this final 28 seconds in order to give themselves a chance. Makowski, he'll take this important draw up against Hare. Shot, and that's blocked. A great block by Upal at the point. Fired on goal. Rebound, and is chipped underneath the goaltender, and he rolls just to make sure it's covered. And that was Manpreet Malhai in front, who got an opportunity at the rebound, but he was well covered. 19 seconds remaining. Makowski wins it back door! Oh, and what an opportunity! He was just laying there. They almost had it. 11 seconds to go. Shot on goal, and that's blocked in front by Upal. And now we have a stoppage. The goaltender lost his trapper in that foray. Oh, how did that ball stay out? That was drama. Sitting there just inches away from the white goal line. Brandon Bondi out of position. And I think that was Manpreet Malhai in the vicinity, but he just couldn't get it. There's Makowski shooting. That was blocked. 4 seconds to go. Is there time? Shot on goal, and it whistles wide. And time runs out, and one last backhand chop by Makowski on goal. And it ends 6-5, and it's our fourth straight one-goal contest here at the Frank Crane Arena. And hanging on for dear life, but hanging on indeed, and punching their ticket to the finals. The BC Blackhawks escape with a 6-5 win. And this one had it all. A couple of controversial calls, one non-call and one made call. And the Moonshiners giving consolation taps to their goaltender Malhai, who did everything he could, but there was just so much skill on the end of the other sticks there. Bondi getting some love on his way through the handshake lineup, and this is one of the coolest scenes in sports. It's the sportsmanship between the players, and especially in a round-robin tournament like this. They don't see each other too often, but when they do, it's a great affair, and lots of love out there on the floor as these warriors all come together. They coalesce for this final handshake that will see the BC Blackhawks move on as Brandon Bondi and his crew do enough to erase that early deficit and come back. Multiple lead changes throughout the game, and the importance of the man advantage, the special teams in this tournament cannot be understated, as there have been some huge momentum swinging goals on the backside and during the man advantage during the round robin final play, and today into the semifinals. It's been evident you got to stay out of the penalty box. The results can be catastrophic. Just ask Pooney for the Blackhawks. He saw two separate goals go in. Or pardon me, Tri Tran. He saw two separate goals go in during his stint in the penalty box. Yes, he got an additional penalty for leaving the box early, but during that time he saw a shorthanded goal and a power play goal scored. Lucas Chakrabarty, he gets the player of the game for the BC Blackhawks. And Jason Makowski, he's named the MVP for his team in this semifinal. There they are. They're setting up for a photo. And the sportsmanship continues. So does the great tournament. But unfortunately for the Moonshiners, this is the end of the championship route for them. but they certainly gave everything, and maybe out there having one last look for the Moonshiners. Malik Dollywall taking it all in, just one last look, maybe at what could have been that unreal goal line stand by the BC Blackhawks with just seconds left on the clock. From 11 seconds down was absolute larceny from not only Bondy but the rest of the Blackhawks defensive crew. They really stood on their heads in that final 30 seconds to make sure they shut the door. Even though they had the power play, the goalie was pulled for the Moonshiners, and they did everything they could, but they come up just one goal short. And the BC Blackhawks, for the men's B division semifinal, they are on to the finals. And for myself, and also for Nathan and Alam, thank you for joining us here on the BC Ball Hockey YouTube channel. We've got more coming up this afternoon, and I'll be right back here with you for the 2 o'clock game here from the Frank Crane. Hopefully we'll see you then.
Whew, right down to the wire, that one, eh?
Yeah,